ordinary horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-yo, Silver. Away!
Get on there! Come on!
The eastbound stage, destined for Mineral Springs, was on schedule. Since it was carrying neither cash nor gold, there was no guard riding shotgun. So the only passenger had chosen to sit in the empty place beside the driver. Though the frock-coated traveler was obviously an Easterner, he was well known in many parts of the West. His name was Horace Greeley.
Get on now!
Mr. Greeley was keenly interested in the country about him. As he scanned the horizon, the celebrated editor said,
"This is Indian country, isn't it, driver?"
That's right. But don't worry about it. Chief Waxhaw and his braves have been living in peace for a long time.
Are we likely to meet any of them?
Nope. The Indians keep to themselves, Mr. Greeley.
Where do they live?
Oh, in the hills to the north.
I'd like to meet the Indian chief.
I've heard that Chief Waxhaw is a mission-educated redskin. Well, I'll be...
What's wrong?
Look on the trail ahead.
A tree seems to have fallen.
Fallen nothing. That timber was cut.
Huh?
It was chopped down and laid across the trail to block the stage.
But why?
It's a stick-up. If I stop for that tree, we'll meet a couple of outlaws as sure as you're born.
But you'll have to stop.
Well, maybe not. I might be able to whip the horses around the soft ground beside the trail. Hang on, Mr. Greeley.
Very well.
Get on there! Ah! Ah!
The horses turned sharply from the trail. As the wheels of the big Concorde struck the soft ground, the vehicle tipped and overturned. The startled team of horses stopped in their tracks, caught in a tangle of snarled traces. Blaze and his two companions spurred their mounts and rode from the cottonwood grove where they had been watching.
Mr. Greeley. Mr. Greeley, are you all right?
Well, aside from a few superficial cuts, I'm all right. What about you?
I'm not hurt. Doggone, I'm sizzling mad. I turned too sharp, that's what happened.
Thought you'd outsmart us, huh?
Don't reach for your six guns.
You're both covered.
Highwaymen.
We call the polecats outlaws, Mr. Greeley. I smelled them as soon as I saw that tree down across the trail.
On your feet, driver. You too, mister.
And keep your hands up.
You critters have made a mistake. We're not carrying cash or gold.
Where's the strong box?
We don't have one. I already told you there's no money shipment aboard this stage.
You were trying to save something when you drove off the trail.
I wanted to save meeting a couple of skunks.
Logan, look inside the stage. See if there's any passengers or baggage inside.
Right.
Spies take their guns. I'll keep them covered.
Sure thing, Blaze. I'll take your six-shooter. And make sure you haven't got a sneak gun.
I don't carry a sneak gun.
Yeah, so I see. All right, mister, now it's your turn.
I'm not armed.
Hey, what's this?
My wallet.
Well, I'll keep it. And likewise, your watch.
I suppose it would be useless to protest.
It would.
There was nothing inside but this satchel.
That satchel is mine. It contains a few articles of clothing and notes that are of no value to you. Search it for money and jewelry if you wish.
We'll take it with us.
No, don't take my notes. They're worthless to you.
Come on, boys. We'll hit the saddle.
Please, I beg you, leave my notes. Don't take them with you. You can't use them.
Yeah, it's no use, Mr. Greeley. Those critters are getting away.
My notes.
I'm downright sorry this happened. I got orders from the manager of the stage line to see that you reach Mineral Springs safe and sound. That's why I wanted to sidestep those owl hoots.
I know you did your best, driver.
Oh, they got your baggage, your wallet, your watch.
And my notes. They're more important to me than anything else.
As Horace Greeley mourned the loss of his notes and the grizzled old driver surveyed the damage to the big Concorde stage, the Lone Ranger and Tonto were traveling at a leisurely pace toward Mineral Springs. Shortly after the robbery, they sighted the overturned stagecoach and the two men standing beside it.
Kimasabi, what happened to stage?
It's overturned, Tonto.
Maybe wheel broken.
We try to help those men. Montilde!
When Mr. Greeley and the stagecoach driver heard approaching hoofs, they turned hopefully toward the sound.
Hey there! Help! Help! Give us a hand!
Great Scott, one of those men is masked, and the other's an Indian.
You have all the dratted bad luck. I've had enough today to last for the rest of my life.
Was anyone injured when the stage overturned?
The driver and I were the only travelers.
Oh, Mr. Greeley.
You know me, sir?
Of course, I've seen many pictures of you. I heard you were in the West.
I journeyed as far as California. Now I'm on my way home. If you and your Indian friend are here to rob us, you arrived too late.
We're not here to rob you.
You wouldn't be here if I had my six-shooter. The three polecats would beat you, too, as clean as out.
I don't understand.
We've been robbed, sir.
Tell me about it.
See that tree across the trail?
Yes?
Three outlaws cut it down, figuring to stop the stage. I tried to turn off the trail to avoid stopping, but I outsmarted myself. Stage overturned.
As briefly as possible, the driver and Horace Greeley explained what had happened. When they had finished, the Lone Ranger asked,
Would you be able to identify the thieves?
Their faces were covered with bandanas. They got away with my gun, Mr. Greeley's watch, wallet and satchel, and likewise some notes he had.
Notes that represent weeks and months of work. They're the only record I have of this journey. I plan to use them as a basis for a series of articles when I reach New York. The loss is irreplaceable.
Sakes alive, Mr. Greeley, I don't savvy why you're so broken up about losing some notes. It'll be easy to remember what you wrote.
Remembering all of it would be a hopeless task. There were facts and statistics, observations, interviews, and detailed remarks, without which it would be impossible to do the series I planned. I tried to persuade the thieves to leave my papers, but even though the papers will be worthless to them, they took them.
I'll look for the tracks of the men who robbed you. I may be able to trail them and recover your notes. Tonto, you'll be needed here.
Me help driver reach town.
Good, easy, steady, big fella. I'll meet you later at our old campsite near Waxhaw Indian Village. Montilde!
But my notes, if you find them...
You not worry about papers. If Lone Ranger find them, him return them to you.
The Lone Ranger?
I've heard about a man called the Lone Ranger, but I didn't believe he existed.
You mean to say the masked man's the Lone Ranger?
That right.
He did call his horse Silver.
How we fix stage?
And if you'll give me a hand, I'll show you.
Me help.
As soon as I remove my coat, I'll help you too.
With the three of us working, we'll have the stage ready to travel in short order.
It was sundown when the repaired stage moved slowly into the town of Mineral Springs. Meanwhile, in the hills north of town, the three outlaws had stopped to assess the loot of the afternoon's work.
Yeah, a watch, a wallet, a bag of outsized clothes, some papers, a 6-gun, and $50.
About $16 for each of us.
Yeah, hardly enough to pay for the risk we took.
Blaze, why didn't you tell us there'd be no cash or gold on the stage?
I didn't know any more about it than you did. I figured there'd be 3 or 4 passengers to rob, as well as a strong box.
Instead of that, there was no strong box and only one passenger. That satchel's no good to us. Neither are his clothes or papers.
I'm beginning to wonder about that, Logan.
Huh?
What are you talking about, Spice?
These cards of identification in his wallet. Take a look at them, Blaze.
The Easterner's named Greeley.
Horace Greeley.
Hey, I've heard of him.
It says in this card that he's the editor of a New York paper.
Yeah, the Tribune. These notes are his. Near as I can figure, they tell all about his trip.
And that's why he was so anxious to hang on to him.
Yeah.
He didn't raise any ruckus when we took his watch and his wallet. But he was downright worried about losing these papers.
They must be worth a lot to him.
In that case, he'd pay a lot to get them back.
I figure the same thing, Blaze.
I'll put these papers in my saddlebag. We'll find Greeley and tell him if he wants his papers, he can have them for a price.
Don't be a jughead. If we go into town with those papers and the law catches us, we'll be jailed for robbing the stage.
Do you have a better idea?
Yeah.
What is it?
There's a cave in the hills, not far from the Indians' village. Now, you two go there and take the papers with you.
What about you?
I'll go to Mineral Springs and look for Greeley. When I find him, I'll tell him we have his papers, and we're willing to sell them back to him at the right price.
What's to prevent him from having the law follow you when you leave town to meet us in the cave?
I'll tell him the papers will be burned if I'm held, or if a lawman goes near the cave.
Hey, I savvy your idea.
Logan, you know how to find the cave?
Yeah. It's that big opening in the side of Indian Head Mountain.
That's it. I'll meet you there after I've talked to Greeley.
We'll be looking for you.
Easy,
Steady there, boy.
What about Greeley's clothes?
Leave him here, they're no good to us. So long, Spice.
Easy. Adios, Blaze. I apologize for saying the holdup wasn't worth our trouble. Before we're through with Greeley, we'll have plenty of cash to show for this afternoon's work.
Get him.
Get up there.
The Lone Ranger had trailed the 3 stage robbers to the place where they had stopped to examine their loot. He picked up the clothing they had discarded and placed it in the satchel he found nearby. Then he studied the tracks on the soft ground. 2 of the outlaws had ridden into the hills, while one man turned in the direction of town.
Easy, steady, smart.
The Lone Ranger decided to follow the solitary rider.
Come on, Silver!
Darkness was falling when the masked man saw his Indian companion riding toward him. He drew rein.
Oh, Silver, oh, easy, steady, big fella.
Oh, Scout, oh, fella. Oh.
Tonto, did Mr. Greeley reach town safely?
Me leave him at hotel. A driver leave town with sheriff and posse. Take him to scene of robbery. Sheriff say him try follow tracks of thieves.
With darkness coming, he'll not be able to follow them far.
Him say him follow tracks by moonlight if him have to. Everyone in town plenty mad when them find out about robbery. You have trouble trailing outlaws, Kimasabi?
I'm following one of them now.
Oh, what happened to other 2?
Their tracks continued north from the place where they stopped in the hills.
It's plenty hard to follow trail in hills.
That's why I decided to follow the man who turned toward town. Oh, perhaps you saw him.
Well, me past rider. Maybe him feller you look for.
He may be, Tonto. What did he look like?
Well, him tall, thin feller. Him ride big gray horse.
Well, here are the tracks of the horse I've been following.
Me see him. Tracks the same as gray horse me pass.
And he is one of the stage robbers.
Isn't that right? Where'd you find Satchel?
In the hills where that rider and his friend stopped. I found Mr. Greeley's clothing there, too.
What about papers?
I didn't see any papers.
Maybe feller who go to town know what happened to him.
We'll go after him. You'll be able to recognize him.
Isn't that right? And me think it's safe for you to go to town with mask, Kimasabi. Driver tell sheriff you Lone Ranger.
Who identified me to the driver?
Well, me tell him what mask mean.
I thought so. It will be dark when we reach town. I'll try to avoid being seen.
A feller named Greeley have room on first floor of hotel. It's plenty easy for you to reach window hotel room without being seen.
Good. I'll return his satchel and clothing and tell him we've made some progress. Let's go, Tonto.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver!
When Spice reached Mineral Springs, he found everyone in town discussing the robbery of the celebrated editor.
Man, it's a disgrace when a man like Greeley's run.
Sheriff had better capture those crooks. He'll be out of a job after election day.
Mr. Greeley will go back east and tell what happened to him, and he'll have plenty to say about our community.
With his influence, what he says will be published in all the papers around here. Yeah, folks in the East will think the West isn't safe.
Now, boys, listen. The sheriff's doing his best. He's out looking for those polecats. He said he wouldn't come back to town till he found him.
Well, he better find him, and when he catches the varmints, we're going to string him up.
Standing on the hotel porch watching the aroused mob, Spice decided he had better move cautiously. After learning where to find Horace Greeley, he waited outside the hotel until darkness was complete and most of the people were in their homes, in restaurants and cafes. When he saw a light appear in the window of the editor's room, he entered the building and went directly to room number 4. He knocked on the door.
Yes, what is it?
You alone, Mr. Greeley?
Yes.
Then I'll step inside.
Wait. Who are you?
Last time I saw you, I had my face covered.
You?
Don't call for help.
A gun?
That's right. I'll use it if I have to.
Why did you come here?
To offer to return the papers we took from you.
My notes?
Yeah.
Do you have them with you?
Oh, I'm not that local, Mr. Greeley. My partners have them, and they're in a cave. They sent me here to say we'll return your papers for $10,000.
But that
Do
is
you
right.
want them or don't you?
Well, of course I want them.
You'll recover them without paying ransom.
In the window.
Masked man.
Drop your gun or I'll break your arm.
Both Spice and Horace Greeley turned in amazement to the open window where they saw the Lone Ranger. The masked man's Colt was in his hand, and beside him stood Tonto, who also held a gun. When he realized that he was covered by 2 guns, Spice knew that it would be suicide to try to shoot.
All right, I dropped my gun.
Now Now raise your hands.
Me climb in window, Kimasabi. Get gun.
Go ahead, Tonto. I'll keep him covered from here.
As soon as Tonto was inside the room, he picked up the outlaw's gun and stood on guard while the Lone Ranger entered.
Mr. Greeley, I apologize for my unusual entrance, but this is easier than walking through a crowded lobby.
Apologies are unnecessary. I'm glad you and Tonto arrived when you did. This man...
We overheard his conversation.
Then you know he's one of the stage robbers.
Yes, we followed him to town. When Tonto saw his horse at the hitch rail outside, he became suspicious. We came here to return your satchel and your clothing.
But my notes...
This man must have been telling the truth when he said his partners are holding them.
I was telling the truth, all right. Those notes will be destroyed if anyone tries to go near the cave to get them.
Where is the cave?
I'm not talking.
If we turn this man over to the townspeople, they'll find a way to make him talk.
Oh, what do you mean?
I heard them talking about the robbery. They want to lynch the thieves.
What?
Now, ordinarily, I'm opposed to
No,
violence.
I'm entitled to a fair trial.
If the people learn the truth about you, you may not live long enough to go on trial.
But hangings for murderers and horse thieves...
Tell that to the mob?
Now, let me out of here.
Try a break and I'll shoot. The sound will bring people to investigate.
Yes, that's right.
No.
The lynch mob has you. You may wish I'd shot to kill.
But what do you want me to do?
Tell us where my notes are.
Well, they're in a cave.
What cave?
Well, it's north of here, on the side of Indian Head Mountain. Place is about 3 miles from Waxhaw's engine village.
As Spice described the huge cave that was surrounded by boulders higher than a 6-foot man, the Lone Ranger and Tonto realized that the outlaws had chosen to hide in a place they knew well. Tonto exclaimed,
Kimasabi.
Yes?
That cave where we camped many times. Cave not far from Chief Waxhaw's Indian village.
That's right, Tonto.
You know the place?
Yes, sir. We'll get the sheriff and go there.
You can't do that for 2 reasons.
Oh?
First, my pals will set fire to those papers as soon as the lawman goes near the cave. In the second place, I know the sheriff's out of town.
Yes, he's right. The sheriff is searching for the stage robbers. He vowed he wouldn't return until he captured them.
I see. Tonto, the jail is next door. Take this man out the rear door of the hotel and through the back entrance to the jail.
Me savvy. And that way, no one see him.
That's right. If there's a deputy on guard, explain the situation and ask him to hold the prisoner until the sheriff returns. I'll wait here for you.
When Tonto returned to the hotel room, he reported that Spice was behind bars and that the deputy on duty had promised to keep the prisoner's identity a secret until the sheriff reached town.
I'm glad of that. In spite of my efforts to frighten him, I don't want to see any man lynched.
And what we do now, Kimasabi?
We'll go to Indian Head Mountain.
To the cave?
Yes, but first we'll call on Tonto's friend, Chief Waxhaw. We'll need his help to recover your papers.
During the last hour of darkness, Blaze and Logan were waiting anxiously in the mountain cave for Spice to return from town. Neither Blaze nor Logan knew that the Lone Ranger and Tonto were concealed behind trees and boulders some distance from the cave. With them were Chief Waxhaw and 2 of his braves. The masked man was explaining his plan.
Now, Tonto, make your way to those boulders beside the entrance to the cave.
Me savvy. Me wait till moon go down. Then move in darkness.
Right. Take your position and keep out of sight until both of the men are out of the cave.
Me do it.
How we help, masked friend?
Chief Waxhaw, I'll ride Silver toward the cave. When I'm close to it, I'll drop from the saddle, and you and your braves will ride after me as if you were chasing me.
Daylight was breaking when Blaze and Logan heard the sound of approaching hoofs.
Logan, listen.
I hear hoofbeats.
It must be Spice.
About time he got here.
Get your gun ready, just in case it's someone else.
Right.
Now, look outside.
Yeah, you cover me.
Don't worry, I know what to do. Is it Spice?
No.
Then it's the sheriff.
Now, take it easy. It's a masked man. He's traveling fast. You see him yourself in a minute. Hey, that horse stumbled.
The masked man's down.
Blaze, listen, here come more riders.
Maybe the sheriff and the posse are chasing that gent.
Travel as if the devil were chasing him.
We'll watch and see what happens. If anyone starts toward the cave, you know what to do.
Right.
Keeping well back inside the cave, the 2 outlaws watched the masked man get to his feet. He appeared to be badly hurt, but he was making an effort to guide his horse from the trail before the approaching riders came into view. When he succeeded in concealing the big white stallion, Blaze and Logan saw him fall, apparently unconscious. Then they saw the pursuing riders.
Logan, it's Indians. 3 of them. They rode right past the masked man. Didn't even see him.
This man's not moving. He must have been stunned when he fell.
He has a mighty fine horse. I'd like to own that critter.
Come on, Blaze. Let's see if the masked man has any cash on him. If he has, we'll take it.
From his place of concealment, Tonto heard the two men leave the cave. Without making a sound, the Indian stepped into the open with his gun drawn. At the same moment, the Lone Ranger stood up. Logan and Blaze had their weapons ready.
You're covered, mister.
And you covered.
What the...
At the sound of Tonto's voice, the two outlaws turned their heads. They saw Tonto's gun pointing at their backs. The Lone Ranger took advantage of the interruption to draw his Colts.
Drop your guns or I'll fire.
You do as masked men say.
We're in the middle, Blaze. Drop your gun, Logan.
Keep them covered, Tonto. I'll go into the cave and look for Mr. Greeley's notes.
Me keep him covered.
That masked man's not hurt. We saw his horse throw him. I thought
Masked man only pretend to be thrown. Him not hurt.
Logan, he said he's looking for Greeley's notes. We've been tricked.
Tonto, you and masked men catch crooks?
That right, Chief Waxhaw.
Logan, it's the three redskins we saw riding past the cave. They were chasing the masked man. We figured that
You figure wrong. Keep hands up.
Hey, we heard gunplay. What's going on here?
Who are you?
I'm Sheriff Bates of Mineral Springs. Get your hands up, mister.
Sheriff, this mask doesn't mean I'm an outlaw. These two are the men you want. They robbed the stage. If you search them, you may find the watch and wallet they stole from Mr. Greeley.
Oh, Hank. Hank, search the critters. Right, Sheriff.
You find papers in cave, Kemosabe?
Yes, they were in the saddlebags.
Yeah? What papers you talking about?
Horace Greeley's notes. They were in the cave, Sheriff.
You know Mr. Greeley?
I met him yesterday.
Well, then you're the masked man he and the driver were talking about.
That's right, Sheriff.
Well, in that case, I'll holster my gun. Sheriff, here's Mr. Greeley's watch, and this here's his wallet. Here, put handcuffs on those two critters. We'll take them back to town. All right. Thanks to you, mister, we'll be able to take two prisoners back to town after a night's work trailing them. Maybe they'll tell us where to find their partner.
Their partner's in jail in Mineral Springs,
In
Sheriff.
jail?
You'll find him when you return to town. Chief Waxhaw, thanks for your help.
Me glad help, friend. Now the crook's caught, we hope Tonto visit our village.
Me go back to village with you.
What about you, mister?
Well, Sheriff, I'll turn Mr. Greeley's notes over to you, and you can...
Not on your life. You deserve the credit for capturing the polecats and recovering Greeley's watch, his wallet, and those papers. He'll want to thank you for what you've done. You come with us to town.
Late that morning, the Lone Ranger, the sheriff, and his posse reached town with the prisoners. After Blaze and Logan were behind bars, Horace Greeley stood in the sheriff's office with his wallet, his watch, and his precious notes on the desk in front of him. The editor turned to the masked man and said,
Now I'll be able to do the series of articles about my journey, thanks to you, sir. If there's anything I can do to pay you for recovering my notes,
I'll look forward to reading your articles, Mr. Greeley.
I'm serious about rewarding you.
It's reward enough to have been able to serve a man in your position.
My position, I don't understand.
You're in a position to tell the young men and women of America about this great country, the new country beyond the Mississippi. In the West, we need only one thing.
What's that, sir?
We need men, Mr. Greeley, men of courage and stout hearts who will come here and settle, build homes and communities.
Brave men, stout-hearted men. Men like yourself, sir.
Adios, Mr. Greeley.
Adios, sir, and thank you.
Goodbye, Sheriff.
Goodbye, mister. Thanks. Well, Mr. Greeley, I figured you'd want to thank the masked man for what he did.
I do, Sheriff. And now I know how to thank him.
Eh?
When I return to my desk, I'll give his message to the youth of America. I'll say, go west, young man. Go west.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shadow's latest adventure starts in just a moment. Right now, I want to tell you about a new kind of tire that will stop you quicker, safer on wet, slippery roads than you've ever stopped before. It's the new Goodrich Safety Silvertown with the amazing lifesaver tread that actually dries wet roads. Impartial tests made by the independent Pittsburgh Testing Laboratory prove this fact beyond dispute. Not one of the regular or premium price tires of America's 6 largest tire manufacturers came up to the new Goodrich Silvertown in resistance to skids. These exhaustive tests also proved that the new Silvertown averaged 19.1% more non-skid mileage than any other tire tested in its own price range, which means you get every 6th mile free. Equip your car with Goodrich Safety Silvertowns. Then you'll know what it means to be saved by a Silvertown stop. The Shadow, Lamont Cranston, a man of wealth, a student of science, and a master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Using advanced methods that may ultimately become available to all law enforcement agencies, Cranston is known to the underworld as the Shadow. Never seen, only heard, as haunting to superstitious minds as a ghost, as inevitable as a guilty conscience. The Shadow's true identity is known only to his constant friend and aide, Margot Lane. Today's story, The Creeper.
Mother, is that you? Is the storm frightening you? Mother!
Be quiet. I won't hurt you. I'm just going to take you away. Away where nobody will ever find you. Nobody will ever find you. And you won't be lonely. There are other fine young ladies like yourself where I'm taking you. They were rich and beautiful, too. Once. Once. Yes, once.
Lamont, forgive me for making you rush over here to my apartment at this time of the morning. But I've just learned that something's happened to one of my dearest friends, Edith Day.
Edith Day? I remember her, Margot. Came out 2 seasons ago. Isn't she that beautiful little dark-haired girl I met at the Allanders?
Yes, that's the one, Lamont. Her mother just phoned me. She's frantic, terrified.
Now, Margot, supposing you compose yourself and tell me exactly what's wrong. Just as Margot Lane, my assistant in criminal investigation, would do if it was someone who meant nothing to you.
But this is such a shock, Lamont. Edith's missing.
Missing?
Yes, she disappeared from her bedroom last night. There were signs of a struggle.
Oh, where's the house located?
In the Mayfair district.
5-block section where all those recent robberies have occurred?
Yes, and 2 murders and 5 other disappearances.
That's right, but the paper said every block has a private guard and the finest burglar alarms have been installed in all the houses.
But, Lamont, it's terrible. People just disappearing into thin air without a trace, without any clue as to what's happened to them. Something awful must have happened to Edith.
No ransom note?
No, nothing.
Police are there, of course.
Oh, yes, swarming all over the house. Commissioner Weston himself is conducting the inquiry. Mrs. Day asked me to come over here and stay with her, but I want to talk to you first. Oh, poor Edith.
Police must have searched the house, I suppose.
Yes, from top to bottom.
She might have been carried across the rooftops.
No, the door to the roof was bolted and locked on the inside. It's equipped with a burglar alarm, too.
You go ahead and console Mrs. Day, Margot.
I was hoping you'd come with me.
Not at the moment, Margot.
But it's a case for you as the Shadow.
Yes, Margot, the Shadow will take a hand in this game of violence and death.
Mrs. Day, are you absolutely certain your daughter did not leave the house after midnight?
Yes. Yes, Commissioner Weston. You asked me that before.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, but... Come in.
Callahan, the watchman's here, Commissioner.
Oh, have him come in.
Morning, Commissioner.
Callahan, your report shows you tried all the doors of this house every hour on the hour last night.
That's right. They were okay. They were all locked.
And nobody could have opened a door or a window in this house without setting off the burglar alarm in your agency's central office?
Yes, that's right, sir.
Then Miss Day must still be in this house. Sergeant.
Yes, sir?
Have your men made a complete search all through the house?
Oh, yes, Commissioner, from top to bottom. There ain't a place we haven't looked with her, but... I mean, where Miss Day might be.
My poor baby. Oh, Edith. Edith.
Luxury Moving Company. This is Mrs. Claremont. I'm moving out of the Mayfair district. Yes, I want a van today. Yes, I'm moving to a hotel. I won't spend another night in this section.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Trent, but I'm giving notice. I've been your butler for 10 years, but after the things that have happened in this Mayfair district,
Jake, about that Mayfair crime wave story. Make it hot. Pour it into Commissioner Weston. List the unsolved crimes. 2 known dead, 6 persons missing without a trace. Demand action. Results. Smear it all over the front page. Go to town on it. There you are, Margot.
Lamont, what on earth are you doing here in the public library?
I'm discovering things about this fair city of ours that I've never knew before, Margot.
I don't understand, Lamont.
I'm trying to find Edith Day, Margot. It may seem a very roundabout way, but the police and the private detective agencies have proven the futility of direct methods.
Then you have discovered something. Oh, Lamont, what is it? And why did you come here to the public library?
Because I wanted to look up some old maps and records of the city.
But why? What could that possibly have to do with Edith's disappearance?
I'm not sure, Margot, but it may have everything to do with it. I'll show you something that may surprise you.
Lamont, what are you driving at? That's just an old map.
Exactly, Margot, an engineering map, a plan of the proposed water conduit, surveyed and laid out in the year 1896.
But, Lamont...
Wait, Margot, I'll explain. This plan calls for a 12-foot water main from the West Park Reservoir to the Central District, a distance of 1.5 miles. Margot, 1 mile of that water conduit was built. Then the Spanish-American War came along and the project was abandoned. It was sealed up. It's all here in the old city records. But in some way, the whole project became lost in the tangles of official red tape and forgotten.
What are you driving at? I still can't see what this has to do with...
I'll show you in just a minute. Here. Here's a rough sketch of the Mayfair district, Margot, on tissue paper. I've marked the location of every house in that district where a murder, robbery, or abduction has taken place in the last 2 months. Here. Place it over this old map. Now, look. See what happens?
Oh, why, Lamont, every one of those houses is located directly over that old abandoned water main.
Yes, Margot, and unless I'm badly mistaken, that is the answer to the disappearance of Edith Day, and it'll lead us to the solution of this crime wave in the Mayfair district.
Lamont, that water main must be way down underground. The police searched the basements of those houses. There'd have to be an entrance big enough for a man to get through.
I believe there is, Margot. It's the only possible answer. In every one of these crimes, the story's been the same. No one was seen going into the houses. No one was seen going out. The burglar alarms were intact, yet people vanished.
Oh, Lamont, only you're right. If there's still some chance Edith and those other poor people are still alive, down there in that abandoned hole in the earth. But who could do a thing like that, and why would they do it?
Must be the work of a monster, Margot. I checked up on the things that were stolen, the other crimes. Richly upholstered furniture, tapestries, paintings. Never any money or jewelry. Things you would ordinarily expect a thief to take.
Good heavens, Lamont. You think someone's taken those things down into that black hole?
Yes, and he's taken something else that is doubly significant.
What?
Food. Storerooms have been stripped. Case after case of canned goods has been carried away, Margot. Food enough for 12 people. And that more than anything else convinces me that the people who have vanished are still alive somewhere down there in a labyrinth of tunnels carved out of solid rock.
Oh, Lamont, if only you're right. There's only some way we can get down there.
I believe there is. I believe there is a way. A way the shadow can get down there with your help.
I'll do anything. Anything. You know that, Lamont.
Margot, I want you to go straight from here to Mrs. Day's. I want you to stay there tonight.
But what about you? Where will you be? Can't I do something to help?
Later, Margot, but don't worry. You walk through the door of the Day mansion, the shadow will be with you. For I'm sure that somewhere the wall, the floor, the basement of that house will yield the answer to this ghastly riddle.
Mary, I tell you, I heard something down there in the cellar. A sort of a tapping sound.
Oh, don't go down there, Henry. Don't do it, I tell you. Henry, this house has given me the creeps. I won't work here another day. I'm giving notice to Mrs. Day in the morning. She'll have to get another maid.
Yes, you're right. I don't hear nothing now. Maybe it was just imagining things after what happened last night. I'm a butler, not a detective. If Mrs. Day insists on staying in this house, I'm leaving her service, too.
Oh, shut the door, Henry. I can't stand the looks of that dark cellar. It just gives me the...
Yes. You have good reason to be afraid to stay in this house. Unless I find what I'm looking for. This big stone slab has a hollow ring. This is it. This is the answer.
Oh, Margot, you don't know how much it means to me to have you stay here. All my friends want me to leave this house, but I can't. And the servants, they're afraid. Oh, I'm sure they'll leave tomorrow.
I'm glad I could be with you, Mrs. Day. But now, don't think any more about it, please. Try to get some rest. You're exhausted.
Well, I'll try, Margot, but I'm afraid I can't rest. All I can do is think of what's happened and what may be happening to Edith. Oh, my poor darling. Oh, so awful, Margot, not to know.
What's that, Mrs. Day?
Oh, the house phone in the hall, Margot. Will you answer?
Yes, I'll answer it right away. Try to get some rest, Mrs. Day, please. Hello?
Margot.
Yes, Lamont.
You come down to the basement immediately. Try to get here without being seen. The servants have gone to bed. Hurry, Margot.
Lamont, it's Margot. Where are you?
Right here, Margot. Be as quiet as you can. I'll turn on my flashlight.
What have you found?
Come over here a minute. Look, that stone slab.
Then you were right, Lamont. This is how Edith was carried away, down through that hole. But how in the world did you get the slab up?
For quite a while, I found an iron bar. Be careful. Don't get too close to that hole, Margot. There's no telling how deep it is.
Lamont, now what are we going to do? Hadn't we better notify the police?
No, Margot. Calling the police now might mean the death of every one of his victims, if they're still alive.
But suppose whoever's doing this heard you tapping down here, heard you lifting the stone. Suppose he's waiting for you down there in the dark somewhere.
Oh, I've got to risk that.
Oh, well, how will you get down? There's no ladder.
There's a heavy clothesline in the laundry room at the other end of the cellar. I noticed it when I was examining the walls in there. I'll get it.
All right, but I wish you'd let...
Did you hear that?
Yes, do you know what it means? The creeper is bringing you another victim to keep us company in this living tomb. There was only something we could do. If we could only get these chains off.
No, it's no use. We're helpless.
Dr. Conrad, do you think there's any chance, any hope?
We mustn't give up hope, Miss Day. Sooner or later, the police will trap the creeper, find the tunnel.
The police? Listen, all of you. Some of you have been here a day, a week, 2 weeks. I've been here 2 months. Nothing but that creeper and rats for company. Chained like an animal, half-starved. I thought the police would find me. I had hope, too, but now I know. We'll die here. We'll never get out. Never get out.
The creeper, hear him. He'll come and use that whip again. I can't stand anymore.
Be quiet, will you?
I will. What difference does it make? Sooner or later, the creeper will kill us all. We'll never see the light of day again. Never see the...
Oh, why did you hit him? He didn't know what he was saying.
I had to. He's unconscious now, and it's better that way. Can't stand much more. Heaven help us if someone doesn't get us out of here soon.
Now, so you'll find out how I catch all the fine, beautiful ladies and bring them down here.
Wait, you don't have to put those chains on me. I won't try to get away.
Nobody gets away. Nobody ever gets away. Nobody knows about this old tunnel. I found it long ago.
How long have you lived down here? Who are you? And why have you crawled up into people's homes and dragged them down here? What have you done with them? You haven't killed them, have you?
No. Only one. And because he wouldn't talk to me, always kept trying to get away, I killed him so he wouldn't run away. But then there was no one to talk to. I got lonely. But that was long, long ago.
But the others, and Edith Day, the girl you carried away last night, where are they?
Oh, you'll see them real soon. It's not far from here down the tunnel. A great wide place in the tunnel. It's like a big room. You shall see.
Wait, let me rest here a minute more, and then I'll go with you.
No, you don't. You come now and quickly.
Don't! Let go of me. Let me tell you something. How do you know someone else won't find your hiding place just as I did? Hadn't you better go up and the shaft and lower that stone slab?
No, you come now. You try to trick me. I'll come back and fix that when I've chained you up with the rest of them.
Maybe too late. Someone knows I'm here. He was in the basement when you pulled me down here.
Well, let him come. I'm not afraid of any man. All men are afraid of me. I make them afraid. I make them my slaves. They call me the Creeper.
Creeper.
So, you are the creeper, and all men fear you.
What was that? What was that? I heard laughter. A voice.
Yes, the laughter and voice of the shadow.
But there's no one here. I see no one, and yet
Yet, someone is here. Someone you can't see. Someone who's not afraid of you. You're hearing the shadow.
Shadow? But shadows do not laugh. They do not speak. Oh, no. For years I have lived among shadows in the darkness.
Your crimes have found you out, creeper.
It's the voice of a man. Why can't I see him? There's no place he can hide, not here.
I am here, close to you, creeper. Even by the yellow light of your lantern, you cannot see me, because I have the power to cast a shadow across your mind, a veil across your eyes.
No! No! It's like a dream. Like the dreams I used to have when I lived down here alone. I used to pretend. I used to talk to people. Pretend they talk to me.
No, creeper. Those others who spoke to you were fantastic creatures of your imagination. I am here. Watch, I'll prove it to you. See? I was close enough to snatch that chain from your hand, throw it away. And now you are going to lead me to your other victims. Margot, get back. Get away from me.
No, you keep away from me. Keep away or I'll kill you.
Is that the gun you used to kill Haggerty, the night watchman, creeper?
Yes, he almost caught me. Yes, I killed him. And I'll kill you.
Why don't you try? Why don't you shoot, creeper?
Oh, if I could only see you. No, that doesn't matter. There's a better way. I can see the girl. Keep away from me, Shadow. You keep away or I'll shoot her.
You'll never have the chance.
Just let go of me. You'll never take me. Never.
Devil.
I told you. I told you I'd kill her. I told you, Shadow.
Come on.
Margot. Oh, what a fool I was to expose you to this.
Did he get away?
No. I knocked him out, but not quite soon enough. Did he shoot you?
Nothing, Lamont, nothing. Bullet hit my shoulder. Only a flesh wound. I'll be all right. Find Edith Day and the others, Lamont. Get them out of here.
No, Margot, that can wait. I've got to stop this flow of blood.
I'm all right. Let me get up.
No. Don't try to get up. Hold still. Still, I get this handkerchief. Steady, Margot, steady. Got to tie this tight. The best we can do till I get you to a doctor there. I've got to find some way of getting you back up that shaft.
No, please, Lamont. It's only a flesh wound, I tell you. The bleeding's almost stopped. I'll be all right. Just leave me here and go help the others. Lamont.
What?
The creeper. The lantern's still there,
Yes?
but he's gone. You said...
Good heavens, I thought I'd knocked him out.
You gotta go after him. Now that he knows someone's found his hiding place, he'll kill Edith. He'll kill all the people he's got down here.
I'm afraid you're right, Margot. I hate to leave you here like this, but I
Lamont,
don't...
go on, please. I'm all right. I'll try to find a way to get up the shaft and notify the police.
All right, Margot. If you think you can, there's a ladder, but be careful. It's old and rotten, and some of the rungs are gone.
I'll get out. I'll get help, but it may be too late unless you can find the creeper and stop him from murdering those poor people he's dragged down into this awful place.
If I could only be sure which way he went.
He was going to take me that way, down the tunnel. Hurry, Lamont. Hurry. Take the lantern.
All right, Margot, but get out of here if you can. Notify the police. Tell them the creeper shot you. Tell them you saw him escape down here through the cellar, but don't come back down here, Margot. There's no telling what may happen, what this fiend may do.
Mr. Conrad, look. The creeper's come back.
Oh, yes. Something's happened this day. Maybe the police have found this horrible place at last. Oh, his face is bleeding. His eyes.
It's horrible being chained up like this, like animals.
We're helpless.
If the police are coming, he'll kill us. I know he will.
Now, wait. He's going to that chair he calls his throne.
Why doesn't he say something? Do something. Why is he standing there?
Careful. He's turning this way.
Something's happened, all right.
I'm afraid something worse is going to happen.
Oh.
Nothing could be worse than this. Nothing. Oh.
Why don't you get it over with?
Why don't you kill us and be done with it?
Yes. Why don't I? Why don't I kill all of you? That's it. Then he won't be able to take me away from my castle in the earth. And it's so easy. I had the dynamite. dynamite, and it's all ready. All I have to do is light the fuse. That's it. That's it. That'll seal the tunnel, and we'll all die. But we'll all be together. I won't be lonely.
It's too late for that, Creeper.
Shadow! So you followed me here?
Yes, Creeper.
Did you hear that? It's the shadow.
Shadow?
Listen to me, all of you. You have nothing to fear from me. Nothing to fear from the shadow. I've come to help you. Get you out of this death trap.
But you won't, Shadow. You'll never take them away from me. Look. Look what I have in my hand. See? Dynamite. Dynamite. I stole that, too. I knew that someday I might need it. Someday someone would come. But it'll kill us all. And it'll kill you, too, Shadow.
No, Creeper, I'm not chained. I can get away from you. Why don't you follow me? Follow my voice.
You're afraid, Shadow. You're running away. But you won't get far. You don't know this tunnel like I do.
Then follow me. Follow my voice, Creeper. Follow my voice.
I'm following you. You can't go much further. You've come the wrong way. Behind you is the end of the tunnel. The end of the tunnel. And the end of you.
Yes, this is the end of the tunnel. What are you waiting for, Creeper? Light the fuse. Now is your chance.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Now. Now is my chance. Now. You can't get away.
Throw the dynamite. Throw it, Creeper. Can't you guess where I am by the sound of my voice?
Yes. Yes. You're caught. You're caught, Shadow. With you out of the way, no one else knows except that girl. And I killed her. She can't tell. And I'll be safe. I'll be safe.
Yes, Margot, I know. I've read the papers. They gave the shadow a very fine obituary, don't you think?
Oh, but Lamont, what really happened? When the police got there, Edith Day and Mr. Conrad and the others told them the shadow arrived just as the creeper was going to dynamite the place and kill them all. They said the shadow tricked the creeper into following him down the tunnel away from the others so they wouldn't be killed. And then there was an explosion. They said the creeper and the shadow were blown to pieces.
Do I look blown to pieces, Margot?
Oh, but Lamont, how did you escape?
The old trick of voice projection, Margot. Ventriloquism. It was easy in that tunnel. The creeper followed my voice, hurled the dynamite where he thought my voice was coming from. Ahead of him. But all the time I was behind him. Far enough behind him to be safe.
Oh, I'm glad. Oh, I'm so glad, Lamont. I was afraid that this time it was true, that the shadow was dead.
No, Margot. As Mark Twain once said, the report of my death has been grossly exaggerated. The shadow is still alive. Very much alive, as the criminal world will discover to its sorrow.
You have been listening to a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.